Hello everyone, Squiz here, welcome back. Always welcome here at the book show. Man, it's warm in Phuket. I have to tell you, it's a monsoon season, but the rain has been late. And so the sun came out, I went for a walk on the beach. And the beach when monsoon is not as great as the beach when there's no monsoon. Simply because when the water is flat and it's really beautiful, it's turquoise, blue. You can actually see some fishes while you're swimming or splashing around in the water, which I often do. But in the monsoon season, it's a bit difficult because there's waves and quite a strong undertow. So you have to be very careful about how you swim. And the problem in Phuket is that a lot of people arrive here for a good time. And then they want to, take a few beers and a few weeds and I don't know what else, smoking a bit and that type of thing. And then they venture into the water, and so once a week you get somebody who actually drowned and who died. So be careful if you're here. That's all I'm telling you is, can have a good time without being drunk or being stupid. Isn't it true? Well, it's one of the things which I actually discuss in this book, which I want to talk to you about. It's codenamed Love 72. I think it's book 50 in the series, so it is very far into the series. There's 54 now. As I speak, yeah, we might be 55 in a year from now. I don't know, man. It depends on whether I want to write another book, if I have time or not. The story actually forms in your head before you actually write the book. Anyway, the book is about quite a few things, but let's start with the name. As you know, I met my wife, Rebecca, online actually. 4 years after my wife passed, Melissa, second wife who passed actually. And I knew after 4 years, look, I have to carry on. I have to look for my better half because I just had a feeling. I had a feeling she's out there and she's looking for me. And unless I'm, come out of where I was basically hiding away from the world, unless I come out, I have no chance whatsoever of meeting her. Now, I can tell you when you first lose a wife or a dear one, it's very hard to even imagine having another relationship. It's almost like betrayal. And I'm damn sure it is if you do that within a day or two of, burying your late spouse. I'm quite sure there's something wrong with you if that happens. And you have to be careful with that type of thing too, of course. We've heard the horror stories. But then also, I have to say to you, when you're at a certain age, like most of you I hope would be, and me anyway, it means you've seen life and you probably know what you want in life and you know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And when you start dating like that, it's actually all about rejection. It's more than, I would say, actually accepting, because you do want to get rid of that what is not for you. And so for me, it's all instinct. You can look at someone. I knew she would actually speak to me. There would be something about her which attracts me. And it's not to say it has to be the perfect body or showing, a bit of chest and things like that. That actually would put me off. If you need that to get a man, then man, you don't have personality. That's just my my view on it. I know I'm weird. So there were a couple of things, like I didn't want somebody who was covered in tattoos. Why not? Because man, I'm ex-police, and our police force was like a military. We don't like tattoos. We don't like long hair in men. We don't like. There's a lot of things we don't like because I'm conservative. Which is not to say somebody with a tattoo is actually a horrible person, not at all. Melissa had a small US flag here at the back, on her back, which was actually quite cute. But anyway, so I went on the same website where I found Melissa, and Melissa found me, and I looked at Rebecca's profile, and I still have a picture of what she had on. And she was there and she was like saying, Yeah, I met my late husband, dear one, at this very website a few years ago. He's late now. And then she went on and she said something like, prove to me that you're not a spammer. And I thought to myself, yeah, I can prove that. That's no problem, man. That's no problem. And then, I wrote to her, and while I was trying to prove I'm not a spammer, I pressed enter, and then only half a damn email went out. And how it works there is you can only send one email, and then it's for her to reject it or to answer back. And so my idea was, look, I tell you what, since I'm an author and other things as well, I tell you what, go to the website, write me a letter through the George M. James website, and if I can respond to that and quote it to you, then you would know I'm not a spanner. I am actually who I say I am, even if it is under a pseudonym. So that was my plan, man. It was a great plan too. And may I say, I might not write the best of books, but I can write good letters. Well, I actually think I write good books too, but of course I would say that. Yeah, look at some of the critical reviews, and well, I don't look at them, I don't care. So I sent this half a letter to her before I could implement my plan, and I was actually so upset, I was hit the laptop, I came like, I was wanted to smash that screen because I felt like, man, you screwed up. I know it's her. I know it. There's not even any talk about this further. It took me 3 days, and I was on that website and I got her. Now, yeah, so the 3 days, I also played a role with a name, code name Love 72, 24, 24, 24. It gives you 72. Took 3 days. But also, it took me 72 seconds to read her profile because I'm a speed reader. I mean, like all attorneys, I can read massive amounts of paper and memorize it in seconds. So it's just, you learn to do that. And so I sat there and I thought to myself, this is no, you know what. And, well, she tells the story too. She says she was actually on her way between Vevey, where the Nestle headquarters are in Switzerland, Swineland, and Lausanne on the train there. It's actually quite a nice train trip. You're right on Lake Geneva, where you see and you look across. Sometimes you can see France. It is quite beautiful during a snowy season, but this was, I believe, in July. So so to make a long story short, that was summer and it was extremely cold in South Africa, of course. There's a book called after that too. Code name, I think, July something, 27 or something like that, which is actually the date we met on 2018. And I still have to make a video about that book as well. I thought I was just about at the end, but it seems I'm not. Yeah, well, so anyway, it took me 72 seconds. She later said it took a bit longer than that. Not that long, but it did take a bit longer, which is fine. She was a bit more cautious than me, probably had a lot more to lose than me. But that's how we met, and it's fantastic. And I said to her, look, I'm not a rich man in any sense of the word, even though I have degrees and I wrote many books. Times are hard in South Africa, especially if you're white, because you can't find a job. If you're a white male in South Africa, even to this very day, well, they have something called apartheid against white people, or let's call it affirmative action. Affirmative action, affirmative action, AA. And you don't even have to apply because they will not appoint you. They have to appoint a black woman. And yeah, you liberals out there will say to me that, look, it's not a bad thing, it's just to help those who are disadvantaged. My question to you is, show me one place in the world where affirmative action actually worked. No, don't try because you can't. There's no way you can show me it never worked anywhere in the world. Then you damn liberal, explain to me why this is done against a minority. Against a minority. Normally, like in the US, you would find it where a black population, a black American would be assisted. But he's the minority there. And so they say, well, because he's a minority, he can't really vote in the people he wants to vote in, and therefore, we have to take care of this guy. Yeah, but in South Africa, it's the reverse now. You see, it is the minority, the white people, who's discriminated against by law. Elon Musk, as much as I dislike the man, and I have serious doubts about him, was not wrong when he said that. He was totally not wrong. We were talking about four murders being terrorism, and from the state, that I disbelieve totally. It's crime. It's crime. It's nothing but crime as far as I'm concerned, and I wrote books about this. Where I actually mention it, I think safety net is one of them, because I couldn't find any evidence that it's terrorism. It is terrible acts, and it is terror. There's no doubt about it. But it happens black, white, pink. Doesn't matter. The cruelty of man will never surprise me. Which is one of the reasons why I wrote Love 72. Now that you know where the book's name comes from, is because we talk there about the US Rendition Program. Now I will probably make a special episode on it as well, so I'm not going to speak for hours on it here, I'll just touch the highlights. But let's see what the book is about, and I made some notes here. You wouldn't believe we printed about 500 pages out already to make this series. It cost me quite a bit in printer ink, I can tell you, but so what, it's fine. Anyway, what's happening here is that Angelique Dawson and her mates are in Tanzania, and she's got two of her assassin teams with her. Now, if you want to know what is an egg breaker, what is an assassin team, where does this come from, who's assassins, what I'm talking about, please listen to the video on Codename Crocodile, or get hold of a book, Codename Crocodile, which is, I think, book 53 or something. Yes, 53. So it was actually written after this book, because people started asking me, what am I talking about? So in that book, I explained to you where the assassin teams come from, what they do, what's the idea behind them, how their recruitment and training works, and so forth in the books anyway. Do they exist? Well, it is as one said to me, one team commander said to me, was a team commander myself, said, well, you go and try and prove it. Yeah, try and prove it. Can't. There's no way you can prove it unless you get people to start talking openly, and they won't. So yeah, it's fiction. Yeah, of course, it's fiction. But there's a lot of rumors actually that it's not fiction. But hard evidence, like you would stand up in court, the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God, no. No, and I would advise you, as I always do, don't even go and try and find out, because they will first laugh at you. Then they'll be incredulous that you can be that stupid to believe the GMJ books. And then later they're going to give you a quiet warning. Say, guys, just drop it. It's not worth it. And then at some stage, if you keep on going on, you might die. Yes. So what's happening here is Angelique wants to hit one of these safe houses where the rendition program prisoners are being held at a place called Mafia Island. Now, there was one at Mafia Island, which we suspected to be, but we got to the place, it was empty, so we missed it. But in the book, of course, no, it's still there. Now, why did I write this book? There were many reasons why I write books. I mean, the first reason, of course, is there's a book in your head and it wants to come out. The second reason why you would write a book is because you want to warn, you want to say something to some people, you want to send a message, or you want to warn people, or you want to educate people, or you want to tell people about something. That's how I write books, because I'm not actually a fiction writer, even though most of the books are classified as fiction. I actually write them as non-fiction. In other words, if you go into the books and you look at certain certain descriptions and certain history or certain things which I talk about, like in this book about the rendition program, you can take your left nut, and I'm not lying to you. You can go and research it, and you will definitely find out, no, that's exactly how it works. And you might find out a few things which, of course, is not on Google for obvious reasons. That's why I did it, because I wanted to warn in the first place this rendition program is causing terrorism, which means at some stage in the future, if you're a European or a American and you're listening to me here, well, you're welcome. I'm glad for you. I'm glad that you actually bothered to listen to me, because a lot of you wouldn't, because I'm not European or American. I'm South African. And I'm proudly so. With all the problems in my country, I'll always be a South African. And we see things differently from you, or I do anyway. And so what you're getting here is a view from, let's call it the great self, or from the rest of the world, which is not in your damn bubble of exceptionalism. In fact, we don't think you're exceptional at all. We look at you and we look at ourselves and we think we're better than you, actually. And in certain areas in warfare, there's no doubt about it. And I've been warning you, you're going to lose. You start a war with BRICS, and you'll have to go and find out what's BRICS. Just read my books. BRICS has been around long before you woke up to it. In fact, I started warning you in 2014 already, when the first book came out, codenamed BFO 565. And I took it that far that I even wrote what we call the Eggbreaker series to show to you how this can play out. And of course, that is fictional, but it is based upon the question and the study which was done to say, okay, let's say South Africa is part of BRICS. Let's say South Africa is a BRICS country and not a NATO country. Let's say South Africa has a working navy, because there's a lot of people say they don't, but they might have. And submarines and those things are modern vessels, and you can't track them, you can't trace them. We're going to make episodes on the South African submarines, the Type 209s, and the old Daphne class. We're going to start talking to officers there who's now willing, it seems, to come and talk to us on the main show on Legacy Conversations, where we talk to veterans. And you're going to be bloody surprised, because whenever we talk to submarine officers, from the admirals to people lower, they all will say to you something like, yeah, you know, we were created in 1969. Yes, we were operating submarines operationally. Yes, we've done marvelous things with them. And yes, in every single engagement, during training with NATO or any other vessel, Chinese, Russian, doesn't matter, we won. We won every single training engagement. Yeah. Think about that. Think about that. Because a lot of you wouldn't even know it's there, but it's very important, because South Africa controls the Cape of Good Hope sea route, and also it's the only harbors down southern part of Africa where you can actually, repair big ships, warships and things like that. That's why the place is important, despite having 74% of the world's gold and other things. Yeah, it's been mismanaged now, it's been effed up. There's no doubt about it. But in a broader picture, it is still a powerful country in certain ways, and where it is makes it extremely important to BRICS. As I always say to you guys, look at the map of BRICS. I'll put it for you here. I do it in a lot of videos. Look at where the BRICS countries physically are. They straddle all the commercial routes. Think about that. Yeah, Europe, think about it. Swineland, Switzerland, you cannot feed yourself, can you? No, you would rather plant grapes to make what? What do I hear? Grape juice. No, wine. We want to make Swiss wine. Yeah, well, if you're drunk enough, you won't feel the hunger now, will you? Do you know that Switzerland actually had quite a big commercial navy at one stage to supply their vessels during World War II? They would paint them white with the Swiss flag on it, which is a satanic symbol, by the way. And they had this great fleet of theirs trying to, escape the U-boats, things like that. And now, how many ships do you have left? Swine, oink, oink. Now, you pigs, tell me how much do you have left? Well, almost nothing. Yeah, virtually nothing. Yeah, well, when the hunger comes, yeah, well, whatever. So the point is that South Africa do play a major role, especially in the Great Game, because a lot of you in the Western intelligence are just, well, most of you actually, you just play the game of signal intelligence, and you don't flip and realize it's warned in this book straight said to you that that intelligence you get like that is actually manipulated. And remember, whatever the South Africans actually discover, and they have mates everywhere, they do report to the BRICS countries. So it goes to China and Russia and those countries. So think about that as well. If you think of all those intelligence services starting talking to each other, like you're talking between the CIA and MI6 and Mossad and whoever else. The dark horse there actually is TGSE, the French. You never know where you stand with the French, because France has no French. France has interest, and you better remember that, especially in the Great Game. So anyway, we're going to look at the rendition program because she wants to raid this house at Mafia Island, and she wants to free these prisoners and whatever. And to do that, she has 2 teams of assassins standing by to actually conduct the raid. Now, it's a very much confusing situation. The book, I have to tell you, is not that long. It's about 376 pages. But it's important because on the one hand, Angelique is not unsympathetic towards the West. In fact, she's very sympathetic. But officially, the West is the enemy. So for as far as the assassins are concerned, they're just waiting to attack this. I mean, they've been waiting to do it for a long time. And they will go in and they will kill whatever they find and they will rescue whatever they can find. That is the damn warning which I'm giving to you now. Listen to me. If you think your safe houses in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa is not known, or you think that we do not know where you torture these people, and I'll get to that, and where that comes from, the Catholic Church, by the way, and you think you cannot be attacked because why not? Tell me, why do you think you cannot be attacked? What the hell makes you think if you have a lonely safe house somewhere, let's say in Nairobi or let's say in Tanzania or Johannesburg or wherever, what the hell do you think makes you untouchable? Your passport? Really? Really? I'm a US citizen. I piss on your US citizenship. And these people do too. Listen to me. I'm warning you. I'm not threatening you. It's a warning, like a fatherly warning, like a friend would go to a friend and say, I think you're on the wrong road. I'm warning you, you're going to end up in jail or you're going to break up your marriage. Don't do that. I'm talking to you like that, right? Because these books are warnings. We know where you are. We know you are isolated. We know you're supplied. We know your supply runs. We can interfere there whenever we want. And if we do, it's your end. It's your end. In that world, there's no prisoners of war. There's no air pirates which is marched down the streets of Hanoi for everybody to spit on. It won't be like that. The best you can hope for is a quick end, the Space Nuts method. You know what's the Space Nuts method? Let me explain it to you. If you want a quick death, then Space Nuts will say to you, talk to me. Tell me what I want to know, and I will execute you with a bullet in the head. It will just go black, and that's it. Don't talk to me. I will torture you until you talk to me, and then I know what, I might shoot you in the stomach twice. Yeah. Or I might cut your prick off. Whatever. You will regret having to force me, a decent Christian person, to become a torturer. Yes, you will regret that. Now, You know, when the Space Nuts officers explained that to me, normally they had a few bit of vodka in them. They don't see the irony of a Christian man going out and doing such things. But that's how we think, guys. That's how we think. You don't know what you're up against. Up to now, you had a very easy road. It's coming to an end. Nobody likes you anymore. And you are known as people who will crack up and run away. And nobody respects your military. No one. Read American Military Might Debunked. When I took parts of all the books, as I was writing the books, more and more and more information started coming out, which I knew to be true. And I thought to myself, wow, I cannot take the risk of somebody reading a 400-page book and there's 10, 15 pages of a warning and he probably misses it. I can't do that. Let me take that 15 pages and say 50 pages of every book, throw them together, make one 600-page book, and then we'll be okay. Because if somebody reads that book, then we will find all the evidence. Of course, I had so much evidence that I couldn't put everything in the book, so I divided into different chapters where we looked at perception at war. We looked at the army, the navy, your spies, your special forces. We had all these chapters where we look at them and all their fuck ups and screw ups. And what came out there is so astonishing. It is so astonishing. It should break your bubble, but it doesn't. It doesn't. When that book, American Military Might Debunked, was actually referred to Congress by some of the concerned readers in the US, they just laughed it off. Yeah, just, oh, no. Yeah, what does Africans know? Okay, let me ask you a question here. I'm talking here as a human rights attorney. What do you niggers know? Tell me. Would you think I'm now being very racist? Huh? Of course I'm racist. Of course, you should never say such things. It is wrong. You cannot classify a man on his skin color. But tell me, you Europeans, listen to me now. Americans, yes, you. The best anti-tank missile in the world is what? The Makopa, the ZT6, the updated versions, made by the NEL, South African Arms Company. Yes. What about the best air-to-air missile, short range and medium range, and now going beyond visual range? That would be the Agile Darter VE3 or V3E, also made by the NEL, South African company. Tell me who in 1975-76 already had mine-resistant vehicles. It would be the South African Police Force. The moment you put the word South Africa in, African country, you stop listening to me because you say, oh, it's a third world. What do they know? Then you get with this flippant attitude of yours, you come to our coast and you exercise with our submarines and you get sunk. Yes, 2008, exercise Amalozo or something. Yes, the entire bloody NATO squadron arrived here. Yeah. And they're going to exercise against the South African Navy. Yes. Every single one of your ships got sunk during that exercise. Yeah. The vessel you were trying to protect, pretending to be a carrier or something, that got sunk as well. Did you even detect the South African submarines around you? No. So stop being damn racist, right? You don't even know you're racist. That's the worst of it. You don't even know it. So we're going to talk about the rendition program. And there's also something else in the book which I found interesting, and that was the role of the South African Army's cavalry in the South African border war, which was like a counterinsurgency war which became conventional. If you want to know about this, what happened there, please go to Legacy Conversations. Yeah, here's the site. It's also the links is in the descriptions as well. Go there and you will find there's millions of views there. It's a big channel for us. It's very suppressed right now, but we have our millions of views. And there you will actually learn about that border war and what went on there and what was going on. And there's a lot of things you don't know. Why do I say you don't know? We read when General Petraeus came out with new field manual, 324 or 326, whatever, about counterinsurgency. We read that thing. And we found out he didn't even mention the South African effort or the Rhodesian effort. Which means to us, our way of thinking, you know absolutely fuck all about counterinsurgency. Nothing. And guess what? We saw you failing. Fail, I tell you. You were failing and you failed. In Afghanistan, Iraq, Sub-Saharan Africa, wherever you go, you just screw up, F up, and the problem gets worse. Am I saying it? No, let me put the slide in for you once again. From your time journalist at the BBC. Yes, the BBC. You know that state-funded news outlet, you know, that's funded in the same way as Russia Today. Do you know that? No, probably not. Okay. And then came your war on terror. Oh, shame. Did you win that? No, you lost that. When last did you actually win anything? No, seriously, I'm asking you. When last did you win? The US Navy got chased away by the Houthis. Oh, shame. Oh, shame. Let's talk about, so you attacked Iran. Okay. You bombed a few buildings, you didn't get even to the things on the ground. No, you didn't. And the place where there's actually enrichment going on of, of uranium. Putin said to you, what did Colonel Putin say? He said, you don't attack that place. No, don't do that. There's Russian scientists there. And what did you do? Israel? Tel Aviv? Tell me, Jerusalem, West Jerusalem, Washington, Daddy, Trump. Did you attack that place where the Russians were? No. Why not? Why not? You're the Almighty. I mean, you're the exceptionals. You know, you're the second beast of the Bible. You know that the USA is actually identified as the second beast of the Bible? Huh? Do you know there's the first beast, the Roman Catholic system, not the Catholic himself system? Do you know where they get their power from? From the dragon. Do you know what's a dragon in the Bible? Yeah, that's Satan. That's Lucifer. You know that. If you don't know it, please educate yourself. Read the Oath of Evil, the War on Protestantism, 651 pages, where we reveal all these things directly from the Bible. You can't argue with it. You cannot argue with it. It's impossible to argue with it. And in that book, I leave you tons of links and things to say, go and find out for yourself. It's the same with all my books. I challenge you. If I say things here which you think is way beyond ridiculous and it cannot be, guys, please go and research. Don't blindly take my word for it. I don't want you to do that. Please don't. Go and research. So if I say here in this book, I start talking about the South African Army cavalry used in a counterinsurgency role, then take it for granted. I know what I'm talking about. So the South African cavalry, the idea was to use them not as ceremonial, but to use them actually in the war. Actually started before the war actually started. It started in 1968. When there was a brigadier. Those days, a brigadier was not necessarily a brigadier general. It used to be until 1923, and then after the First World War, the British Army had some problems because in Parliament, they started asking why they have so many general officers, and so they made the brigadier rank not to be a general officer rank, even though it's the same. And so it became like a brigadier. And that's how it was for a long time until Mr. Mandela took over with us. So Brigadier Magnus Malan, that's his name. He was then in charge of the South African Military Academy, and he started introducing that officers should be able to ride a horse. And from there on, he started looking at the efforts of the Rhodesians, which were using cavalry, as well as the Portuguese army were using cavalry in Mozambique and Angola with great success, right? And so he thought, well, the South Africans, we're very proud of our skills with horses. I'm not. I'm flippant scared of horses, man. I fell off them twice. Once I was thrown right into a soccer net and I fell right through it when I was 6 years old. And since then I had a fear of horses. But anyway, if you go back to our commando system, which is not special forces at all, That's where the name comes from, by the way. Commando, which Winston Churchill, that flippin' arch liar, which you people admire so much. Don't know why. I'll make an episode on that idiot too. Yeah, the Druidic priest. Yeah. 53, 53-degree Freemason. Yeah, the one who said there's nothing after death. Yeah, nothing. There won't be anything for him. Well, I hope there will be, but that's his words, not mine. That drunk. Yeah. Guy was so drunk at cabinet meetings that they had to stop taking notes because he was incoherent. The guy wanted to bomb Tokyo with poison gas. Yeah, him. The one who actually did bomb the Red Army during that stupid little invasion just after the First World War in Russia, trying to assist the white forces, and so we were using poison gas against the Russians. Fascinating, this fellow Winston Churchill. And it was Winston Churchill in 1940 that decided, well, I can't go back into occupied Europe because I'll see my ass. Why? Because I don't have an army. Why don't I have an army? Oh, they ran away from Dunkirk and other places. Yeah, they ran away so quickly they left their arms behind. Of course, there was understanding with France that these men who were rescued from Dunkirk and other places, it wasn't the only place where they ran away. They would actually go back to France immediately and they would re-equip and they would go back and keep on fighting. As the French soldiers who were evacuated, all of them were back in France within 2 weeks fighting. When did the British Army go back there? Tell me. 1944. So for 4 years you did what? Fuck all. No, we were just sitting around there in England. Well, some of us were fighting in North Africa, that's true, under General Montgomery, Field Marshal Montgomery, the best general of the war. Really love him, man. But explain to me, and we asked this question in many books, but especially Codename Caribbean, a maritime anti-terrorism book. Go and read it. You're going to find out quite a few things you didn't know. But yeah, tell me why was lack of casualties on the British Army during World War II? Why did you kill more German civilians with your bombing raids than actually were died in the British Army fighting with Germans? Yeah, why? Why did France lose almost 2 million men, or whatever men they lost, which is about twice price as more than you did, in that six weeks of the Blitzkrieg in 1940 when you lost during the entire 6 years of war? Tell me, I want to know. Because you can't tell me, I'll give you the answer. You weren't fighting. No, you were not fighting. No, you did what you always did. Get the colonials to fight for you, people like me. My dad's uncles were all fighting for you. One was a bomber pilot. The other one was a tank commander at El Alamein. Yeah, all of them were at El Alamein. The other one was in the infantry. He actually escaped from Tobruk when it fell. Let his men out. Got the military cross for it. Yeah, fascinating, He was standing alone in 1940, of course. Of course. Yeah, really. Tell me about that 140, no, sorry, 100 other nations of the Commonwealth. What about the mighty soldiers, those great fighting men of Rhodesia? The country was sacrificed more than any other country in the Commonwealth per capita to die for you. What about India? Yeah, paid you £1 million a day. £1 million a day during the war to keep your war effort going. And when they had this great hunger in Benghazi, I think, or it's a province, not sure anymore. Anyway, they had this famine. And guess what? What did Churchill say? Tell me, what did Churchill say? He said, if it's so bad, why is this Muhammad Gandhi still alive? You think we forgot about that? What about the New Zealanders? Who's considered to be the best infantry during World War II? Hmm? Hmm? New Zealand. New Zealanders. Who said that? General Montgomery. He said that. Australians. Brawny bastards. You know what my uncle said when they came back from the war? Don't fight with Australians. Even 5-1, they'll still murder you. They'll still be fighting back. They tough bastards. Yeah, South Africans, yeah. South Africans took so much losses that they had to give up on the infantry divisions and form a tank brigade, tank divisions, a 6 armored division. Fought well in Italy. You know that. Anyway, I know these things, and so will you if you read my books. Um, the Portuguese fought well while they were still fighting in Africa. So did the Rhodesians. They fought very well. And so this Brigadier Malan, he got this idea. They started the South African cavalry, army cavalry schools. I explain it to you in the book. And then we take you through on how they actually operated and how they had clashes with the locals. Simply because a horse, for the cavalry anyway, is almost like a wife. By which I'm not saying they have sexual relations with their horses. I'm not saying that, not at all. Not saying that, they're not British. So they probably didn't. But the problem would come when the horse is injured, then the horse would be shot dead right there, which is traumatic. And then, of course, the locals would want to eat the horse. Hmm. Hmm. Which did not go over kindly. There's no way in the world they're going to allow that type of thing. So yeah, so it's a very interesting story. And just in case you know, if you've done a quick Google search on Magnus Malan, you will find that there were some people who wrote a book. It is absolute bullshit. I had to remove a book from publication because they were threatened to be sued for defamation. They brought it out after the general was deceased, but other people were mentioned in it. It's called The Boys of Bird Island, and it's the biggest toss and bullshit you can ever read in your life. There's nothing truthful in it. It is just bullshit. One author actually committed suicide. The other one went very quiet. The publishers had to apologize in writing, which they did. But if you want to know the story about Magnus Malan, we made an episode about that with people who knew him. A former general officer commanding of special forces was speaking there because he was in the military academy when Brigadier Malan was there, later General Malan, later Minister Malan, Minister of Defense. And also one of his spokespeople actually spoke in that episode. So please go and have a look at it and educate yourself. Don't believe everything on Google. Because Google is just going to say to you, oh, this general was a pedophile. But they don't say to you that the allegations was never proven. It was bullshit from beginning to end. And the book who actually said that had to be withdrawn because of that. That they won't tell you. There's no way in the world that Magnus Malan was a pedophile. But you know what? Just crazy, crazy times. Anyway, so we look at that as well. Now, the earliest example which I could think of rendition took place actually in 1960. And that is with Mossad, Israeli intelligence, and they're involved in this raid, by the way. Some of the people are there, and they were in the real one. And they decided they were going to grab Adolf Eichmann from Argentina to stand trial, and they did. They went and hunt for him, they got hold of him, they grabbed him, they smuggled him out, and he stood trial in Israel and then got sentenced to death. Now, since the Israelis don't know how to execute people, or they didn't know at that stage anyway, not in a formal way. I'm not talking about assassinating people or starving them to death or whatever. I'm talking about hanging a person. They didn't know how to do it. It's against the Jewish faith, by the way, to do that thing. That's what I was taught by my many, many Jewish friends. And so they had to import, somebody to do it for them. Eichmann. Was Eichmann as great a target as the movies made him out to be? No, not really. He wasn't that high. But he was there and they got a lot of kudos out of it, so good for them. And then in 1987, Ronald Reagan actually did the same thing. So this is where there was an airline hijacker called Fawaz Yunus. He was then snatched. He was also grabbed. Um, and he was then sentenced also. Now, the thing which you must remember here, it's of extreme importance that you remember what I say to you now. Both those Yunus who got snatched, in other words, kidnapped, as well as Eichmann who was snatched, in other words, kidnapped, because there's no extradition warrant or anything. This is not done at a diplomatic level, guys. These things happen as follows, and I do describe it in some of the books, where you have a target. Then you get this target somewhere. You go and read Codename VFO565, the first book in the written book, but it's not the first book in the series. But go and read it, because that's exactly what started happening in Mozambique. We would actually identify a guy, then you overcome that guy, you just grab him. There's no warrant of arrest, there's no extradition, there's nothing. You basically kidnap the guy. You go into his bedroom, you put a pillow over his head, chase his mistress away, kick the hell out of him if needs be, inject him with something if needs be, but you get him out. You get him to Renova with a submarine or with whatever, or to a safe house where you can talk to him. Right, so it's illegal. It's illegal, totally illegal. It's unlawful. It's called kidnapping. That's what civilized people will call it. And remember something here, both Eichmann and this Yunus, both of them received fair trials. They had lawyers present, it's open court, they could defend themselves, and thereafter they were sentenced, whether to death or to prison or whatever, doesn't matter. Even though they were grabbed, sort of illegally, well, totally illegally to be honest, they had fair trials. Yunus got sentenced to 30 years, he served 16, and I don't know where he is now. Eichmann, of course, was executed. This is not what happens with a rendition prisoner. Rendition prisoner is captured, interrogated, which means tortured, and then he is killed. You get it? He's murdered, right? Because again, there's no court saying to you, okay, take this guy hanging by the head, by the neck until he's dead, dead, and dead. You know where those three words come from? Dead, dead, and dead. Well, it's fascinating because in the old days, if you hanged somebody and the rope would break or the beam would break, then he would be seen as his God intervening, and therefore he would be left free. You get that? But the judges and the legal systems were not happy with that type of thing because who's God to intervene with them? They know better than God. So all what happens now is you just pick him up and say, I'm so sorry about this, apologize, mate, and you hang him again. And that is why the deceased will be hanging on by their necks for quite a while, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, even longer to make sure, because the heart would not stop beating immediately. You might be dead because your neck is broken. You know what, I go into this in many books where I describe these things to you, but the fact of the matter is, once these guys are captured, they are killed. So it's murder. Murder is taking place. So where did they start? We think that the latest one started in 1995 already. We say perhaps 1996 under Billy Goat Clinton. That's where they started doing these things first. But it was isolated cases. It didn't happen that much, but it did happen. So there were definite changes in the CIA. Now remember, the CIA is known in South America as Catholics in Action, yes. But it's not said with love, it says with contempt. The CIA is also a place which destabilized 1/3 of the world, more than 60 countries, yes. And it's also a place which lie, steal, cheat, all those things, but that I can forgive them. I have no problem with that. We all do that. But there is something very nasty about the CIA, and we'll get to that because that comes from the Catholic Church. And most of their leaders, by the way, most of their well-known directors of the CIA, most of them, virtually everyone was a high-ranking Catholic member in the sense that he was very religious. Many of them got medals and honors from the Pope, who's the Antichrist. Yeah. Get the picture, please, understand what we're talking about. Read Oath of Evil or listen to a book. And as I always say to you, get the book in paper. It's not that I need the money, but I know they can't change it there. Once you have it in paper, you have it. Of course, we do update it now and then, but I can only update it up to a point because it's already at 650 pages. But you will be astonished what comes out in that book because it links all the dots. And yeah, I'm telling you now that the CIA directors either belongs to secret organizations, which is under Jesuit control, which is a military order of a Catholic Church, which was created in 1539, I think, to do what? To counter the Reformation. Yes, that's the only reason why they exist. And do you think they succeeded? Well, there's only one Catholic Church. Of course, there's many different branches in it. I mean, you can belong to this group or that group or that group or this group. Yeah, they all are open there. It's fine. You can go there. But the Protestant movement is now split into 57,000 different denominations. In other words, every second guy gets up and he has like an idea. And now he's talking shite 9/10 of the time. And so it's totally split. As a community, it is totally split. And there is actually only one church, Protestant church, in the world, who is true to the Bible and the Bible alone. And even the Catholics admit that. And they keep the Sabbath, as God says you should do in the fourth commandment, which is not on a Sunday, because it's a Catholic Church who changed it from a Saturday to a Sunday. And what did they further do? They then said, well, that's our mark of authority. Yeah, so if you go to church on a Sunday, and I don't help your good intentions, I don't. I did too until I found the truth. Then you're subjected to us. So, tell me, if the Bible then is correct, and the Bible of course is correct, and the first beast of the Bible, which the books of Daniel and Revelations are actually talking about, the first beast would be the Catholic system. And they go out and they say, this is our mark of authority. Would Sunday worship then be the mark of a beast? Yeah, it has to be. Cannot be any other way. So if you follow it with your right arm, with your right hand, by going there on a Sunday, then of course you've got the mark. If you go there because you've heard what I just said, you listen to it, it's in your forehead or your thoughts, and now you interpret things. Now you say, Chris, I think you're talking shite, man. That's not true. You know, Chris, the law, it stops at the cross, man. Don't you know that? There were two laws. Yeah. One's the 10 Commandments, will never change. Never, cannot change. It's impossible, will not change. Bible says so. And then there were the ceremonial laws. Of course, ceremonial laws stop now. You don't have to be, cut down below. You don't have to cut the throat of a goat and to offer it. You don't have to do that. Why? Because the offer was made already by Jesus Christ, your Savior, when He died for you. Yeah, the church I'm talking about is a Seventh-day Adventist church. Sect, you tell me. Well, there's 22 million of them. They have worldwide universities. Some of them has gone stray now. They have worldwide hospitals. Here in Phuket, where I am, in Thailand. The other day I got sick. I had the flu. I went there. I went to a Seventh-day Adventist hospital. It's called the Mission Hospital. I found half of Phuket there because all the locals go there. Remember that. All the locals go there. They know where to go. And I was within an hour, I seen a doctor. A woman was totally overworked, shame. But she saw me. Another 20 minutes, I had my medicines. It cost me the grand total of 1,200 baht. Or about $40, I suppose, at the most. Wasn't money. If I've done that at a different private hospital, it was cost me about 5,000 baht. You see what I mean? $120, $150. So yeah, it's a good place to be. So anyway, Billy Goat Clinton, he's the one who actually started this. And we're going to get to why the CIA thinks that they can kill people at will. And then came, of course, 9/11. Now, if you read my books, you will actually know that we knew about 9/11 before that. Yeah, we had good reason to suspect that. In fact, one of your damn analysts, when he was looking at those guys who did it from Saudi, Saudi, not Iran, Saudi, say it after me. I don't understand why you hate Iran that much. Iran is a Shia nation. It attacks these people who attacked you. Yes, you should be comrades, brothers in arms, but you're not. You know why not? Because Israel told you not to be. That's why. That's why you hate Iran. Mm, mm. That's what's happening. They're controlling you in that aspect. Or is the second beast of the Bible actually controlling the Jewish state? Perhaps to cause a third world war? Was that predicted? Yes, Albert Pike, read his books, Morals and Dogma. I've been telling you these things in many videos. I'm sorry that I keep on repeating myself, but guys, I don't know which one of the videos you're looking at. This might be the first video you've looked here, and if so, you're very welcome. I'm glad you're here. I hope I didn't frighten you away. Again, we discuss these things because it must affect you. It's going to affect you when this happens. But the fact of the matter is, a Shia nation like Iran is not your natural enemy. But the one who actually attacked you, whose citizens was created things like Bin Laden, and all those guys who crashed into the towers and tried to blow you up before that at the World Trade Center. Yeah, with fuel air explosives. Yeah, do you know that? Yeah. They Saudi. And yet, that's your big mate. That's where you find Donald Trump, Daddy Trump. It's always walking there with a sword. What do you expect us to think here from the outside who's witnessing this crap? Huh? What do you think about it? Do you actually know that there was an Air France aircraft was hijacked, I think from Algiers, and then the pilots were very clever and they told them they ran out of fuel, they have to land at Marseilles. And so they landed there, and French Special Forces, who's fantastic, the police unit, Army too, they stormed them. There is no such thing as a foreign legion special forces. They don't exist. I just want to tell you that in case somebody trying to bullshit you. And so they stormed the aircraft. And if you look at my video series, which I've done on surviving as a hostage in Sub-Saharan Africa, or you read codename Wrangler, and I might even put the video in for you here. I don't know if I can find it. Then you will see that a major mishap has taken place there, simply because when they stormed the aircraft, their ladders were too high and they couldn't open the door. And so they had to move a ladder back, open the door, and move forward. And the reason for that is because the aircraft was filled with people and fuel, and therefore it was lower, and therefore the ladder was too high for the door, and it couldn't open. Lesson learned. But what's the other lesson we learned there? Two lessons. 3 Roman Catholic priests were then afterwards murdered in revenge. Yeah. Don't know about that, and you don't care about them either, do you? And then, secondly, and more importantly, I would say, is that that was the first attempt since we think from the Second World War with the kamikaze pilots, where the aircraft would actually be used as a weapon. It was supposed to fly into the French presidency or the Eiffel Tower. Of course, you're not going to get a pilot to do that. And so they had to train their own pilots. And these pilots were actually, trainee pilots were reported. And one analyst said, I think this guy's going to fly into the Twin Towers with this thing. Because he wasn't interested in landing. He wasn't interested in taking off. He just wanted to learn how to fly this thing in a certain direction. Bingo, guys. Then afterwards, we also looked at their financial, they had money coming in, and suddenly they started blowing this money. Yeah, on drugs and wars and probably other things as well. Why? Because there ain't no tomorrow, man. There ain't no tomorrow. Of course, they say you're going to get a virgin, but those virgins were about 46 feet tall. I don't think your little thingy is going to satisfy the virgins. Anyway. So anyway, but after 9/11, the CIA really went rogue. They really decided they're going to attack and they're going to snatch these people and they're going to not take them on trial, not take them to court. They're going to start killing them. In other words, we're talking here about heat squads. You don't know. You people always accuse us in the apartheid police. Oh, you were running heat squads. Yeah, I was recruited to one. I tell the story in one of my, I think in one of the books. I didn't go. Why? Because my father was a regional magistrate, a senior one. Now that is like a district court judge in the US. And they're fairly senior people in law. They are qualified, they got their degrees, and they're sitting and they do trial judges. And I told him about it. I said, well, you know, Dad, I've been recruited to this unit. They say we're going to hunt a terrorist and wipe him out. And he was not flipping amused. He was not amused. I said it lightly, you know, but he was like, you know what, even took his glasses off to look at me like, am I serious? Yes, I'm serious. And he said, Chris, when you took an oath in the police, did you take an oath to kill people like that, to commit murder? And I said, no. He says, who decides who dies? I said, I don't know, the colonel. He said, the colonel the colonel's nothing, man. This is not the colonel. This is higher. This comes from the president. And those people will drop you. And they did. They did. Go and ask Eugene de Kock, who was the commander of that unit. What happened to him? Spent about 25 years in jail. He's out now. And he's living in hiding, and I hope that at some stage I'll get him on my program as well. He's a brilliant man, by the way. Don't believe that stories. Go and do your Google search and say, state assassin, or things like, what do they call him, prime evil. There is nothing of those things. If you speak to a man, you'll find a brilliant mind. Damn good policeman. But things went wrong. They followed orders. They started saying, let's fight fire with fire. Yeah, well, see how that worked out for you. So anyway, so they started grabbing these people, snatching them, and the problem is that the FBI would also be there. Yeah, FBI, female body inspectors. What else do we call you with contempt? Clinton News Network. No, that's CNN, but we have contempt for him. Clinton Whitewash Bureau? Yes. Donald Trump haters? Yes. Did it not come out a few days ago that entire story about Russia hoax controlling Donald Trump instead of, probably the Pope? That it was a hoax and it's not true, and that the head of the FBI and CIA, all of them lied. They got their own khawas, their own people to give us, to do analyze the evidence, which what didn't exist. And then they came to this conclusion. Yeah. All political. Yeah, it came out. I'll give you a link here. Go and read it. And if you don't like the link because it's on Russia Today, go and look at your other news stations. And you will find out, no, that's true. They lied. They cannot be trusted. And now with Epstein, now we have to find out Epstein was actually not a Mossad agent. He never influenced everybody, and he wasn't murdered, which might be true. I doubt it. I think he was. And much more. Yeah, there you go. Do you know your FBI? You know they actually are behind about, I don't know, some say 50%, but other people are talking about 80% of all terrorist incidents in the US. They're behind it. What happens? Let me explain. Happens at January 6th too. You get these people, they're not very bright, these hillbillies. But they're patriots, man, they're patriotic. And so what you do is you're an FBI agent or you're an FBI source. Well, now you go to them and you say, guys, let's drink a bit, and then you start talking shite and you say, you think, he's bloody governor here, they're all a bunch of retards, I mean, this government, she's a governor, she's like a liberal, she's a commie. Oh gosh, here you go, she's a communist. Do you people know that Russia is not communist? It's a Christian country. Been like that since the 1990s. Do you know that? The Soviet Union, it doesn't exist anymore. Hello? No. Anyway, so when you just work with people up and then you get them to go and commit a crime. Yeah. Well, you know what? We're going to shoot down George Bush's aircraft. Yeah, I've got this connection, man. He can give us a man-pad missile. Then you idiot, you go and you get involved with this connection with the FBI agent. And you just say, no, I need a missile. I want to go and shoot, you know what? And the next moment, they give you a missile. This has happened, by the way. Guys, this happened. It's revealed in my books. In New York, the Russians actually give the FBI a decommissioned missile. They give it to this guy and arrest him. And now they were heroes. Oh, look at this. We prevented this. We prevented a terrorist attack. In the meantime, the flip and real attacks are happening all the time, you idiot. Yeah, it's amazing. You really should read my books. Or you should read Terrorist Takedown. Yeah, we look at the FBI there. So anyway, now the problem is we got this guy, we got the FBI there too as counter-terrorism operators, and they shit. We don't know what they do. And now they're going to interrogate this guy now. But it's of course illegal and it is torture and you're not allowed to do that under US laws. So how do you get past that now? Let me see, you have unlimited money. So what you will do is you will then just change the law. You will change the way you speak about it. Let's say it's the United Nations. The United Nations is somewhere deployed. And now their troops are committing all sorts of rapes and child molestation and things like that. Yeah. They do that. Otherwise, it happens all the time. And if you read some of my books, you're going to be shocked out of your skull because I looked into this and I had to find out the South African army, which you hold in contempt probably. Yeah, well, they were deployed with the African peacekeeping units everywhere. And there's a huge damn difference between peacekeeping and the war. I just want to tell you that. There's going to be an episode on the Gizzy Conversation what the difference is, because I don't think many people know it. And then we had to find out that the South African army had a better disciplinary record than what? The French army. So here's a third world country. Well, it's not really third world. Here's an army from a third world country, according to you racists. With a better disciplinary record than a NATO country. Tell me, how many prostitutes did the British Army rape in Kenya? Oh no, we lost track. We can't count anymore. How many did they murder? Well, I know about 5. Interesting. So anyway, what they do is they change the name. So what they would do is they would say, there wasn't any rapes or child molestation going on. This is the UN now, United Nations. Who came up with that name? What? Were you Franklin Delano Roosevelt? Yes, officially, yeah, it's him. Who whispered in his ear? Winston Churchill. Yeah, there you go. Was this Delano? Was he also a 53-degree Freemason? Oh yeah. Satan worshipper, huh? Both of them. So now what? So now we created the United Nations. Whose constitution is based upon which country? What do you think? US. No, idiot. It's based upon the Soviet Union. You know that? Lots of things you don't know. Yeah, United Nations. So they said, no, this is not rape or molestation. This is exploitation. Sounds better, isn't it? It's like me standing up in court, and I've never done this, and if you do that in a South African court, you will be disbarred. But that's where you say to a rape victim, you say, Madam, are you not happy that at least this person who raped you was my client, and then which you're saying and he's denying? You know, if you look at him, he's actually white. He's not black. You know, you could have been raped by a black man. Wow, guys, that's racist. You can't say such things. Oh, and this happened. Madam, are you not happy that at least my client don't have AIDS? You know, you could have gotten AIDS. You only have herpes now and syphilis and you know, but at least you don't have AIDS yet. That's a stupid argument. Go and read Codename Alphabet 42 where I talk about what happened after the Second World War, where the German prisoners of war, where they were held in camps. They were not declared as prisoners of war, which meant that the Red Cross couldn't gain access for many months. They were classified as something else, which meant, of course, that they didn't need to be fed because the rules of war, the Geneva Conventions and Hague Conventions of law, they say that you have to eat the same as your men. So if you're a prisoner of war, you will eat the same as the army is eating outside. But if they are not prisoners of war and they are classified as something else, the Brits called their surrendered enemy personnel. And they did it again in the Malayan emergency using calling these people captured enemy personnel. Then guess what? Then I don't have to feed them. And how many died? Huh? Well, there's some authors say 790,000. Yeah, almost 800,000 German prisoners of war, former soldiers, not murderers, guys like you and me who served. They died. Yeah, they died. Yeah. What can I tell you? It happened. It's amazing. It's amazing how you can just change something in law and you get away with it, huh? So it's the same thing which we did with the rendition program. Because let's say you get somebody else into the torture. Yeah. Do what you did in Vietnam. Get the locals. You just sit there and you say, I want to know about this, and this guy is obnoxious, or this woman is obnoxious, so here comes a Vietnamese interrogator, and he starts torturing them. Yeah, it's got all the traits. But it's not you. No, I'm innocent. Yeah, call me Mr. Innocent. It's not me, man. It's not me. No, I did it. Honor your command, sir. Honor your command. And if you walk out, tell me, what flag is flying there on the base? Huh? Is it the American flag? Yeah, that's a gold flag. Is it that one? Yes. What flag's on your uniform? Tell me, what is it? Oh, it's the Old Glory. Yes. That means that you sitting now in Detroit or wherever the hell you're sitting, they did it in your name. You carry this guilt as much as anybody else. You. Because you know about it and you did nothing about it. Yeah, remember that. Remember what the Bible says about such things. So let's talk about, there was an Afghan national, a guy called Gul Rahman. And he was snatched from a refugee camp in Pakistan by CIA officers in 2002. And then he was taken to a secret prison near Kabul, which is known as the Salt Pit. So there's a Senate Intelligence Committee report on CIA torture of 2014. It said the following, this Rahman. He was shackled and he was forced to stand for days on end, subjected to sleep deprivation, blasted with freezing cold water, beaten, chained to the floor of his cell. Less than a month later, he died of hypothermia. His guilt was never asserted. Yeah. You see, this is the damn problem of torture, guys. You grab somebody, you torture the hell out of him, he starts confessing things he can't confess because he's really perhaps not very involved. But you think he is. And remember, now, when I wrote that book, Voices, War Crimes USA, about your war crimes in Iraq, I still have to write another one on Afghanistan. Two things stood out for me. One, I was astonished at the amount of information available, so it's not a secret. And secondly, that the torture were not like a quick thing. It's not like, okay, you got somebody, you need information right now. So you give him a few slaps and a few things, and you know what, that can be seen as torture. I agree with you. No, what happened is it happens over time. It took a month for him to kill this guy. So for 30 days, people had to come there every day. Every day you torture this guy, every day. What the fuck's wrong with you? How is your second name Anthony Fauci or what? You know, who could have no problem giving people money for his corky dogs or whatever dogs they were to lie there tied down with infected ears and things for no scientific or medical reason known to man. Nothing. Fuck all. Woo. Nothing. Huh? Excuse my language. I know there's smaller of you younger people watching here too. Please forgive me. But this is so serious I have to use language like that to get through to you. When you start torturing people for no flippin' reason, what do you think? What's wrong with you? Are you a psychopath? Are you what? Tell me. Because if you're a psychopath and you have mental issues, why the hell are you wearing the uniform of your country? Why the hell are you in the CIA serving your country? Huh? Where's your standards? Do you not have psychological testing before you enlist? Huh? There's something wrong with you. It's the same with all the rapes you're conducting. It's not love. It's not love making. You can see that woman is crying. You can see you hurting her. You can see that she's not enjoying it. So why do you enjoy it? Well, I suppose from a biblical viewpoint, I can say to you, perhaps Satan is flipping inside you. Don't call yourself a Christian. Don't do that. Don't mock God. You're going to get what you're going to get one day, but don't mock God. Not in my presence anyway. So anyway, so this guy died. There was another one of these, we call it a black site. This is like a safe house or a compound where they bring these people, where they are tortured and worked and then killed. There's one in Thailand as well, here where I live, which was called Cat's Eye, and torture went on routinely. There was one detainee there, Abu Zubayada. He was confined in a coffin-sized box and waterboarded near to death. The CIA officer said that the facility was like a medieval dungeon. Yeah, why? Why? We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. So the CIA director who actually replaced us was Emperor Pompeo when he became a Secretary of State and the worst one in history. I think if you read Codename Vet 101, I write about 40 pages on why I tell you why you're not exceptional. So go and listen to that and go and if you want to, of course, and also read the book, which got nothing to do with Pompeo. I just put an addendum in to show to you, you flippin' ain't as exceptional as you think you are. In fact, there's nothing exceptional about you, besides being the second beast of the Bible. But anyway, Gina Haspel, she actually took over from him as CIA director, and she was in charge of his cat eye black site. There you go. There you go. Do you think a woman can't torture you? Huh? Yeah, I wonder how many times in my office I sat as an attorney and one would cry in front of me. The uncle, he says, my wife is so horrible with me, Chris, so horrible. Yeah, but then she can become even worse. She can become physical. Yes. Especially in the spy world. Don't make a mistake. I don't think she's cute and she's whatever. By the way, nothing happened to Gina Haspel. There was a former CIA officer, a very gentleman, still of the old school, who actually protested at a hearing at Congress to appoint her. He tried to protest there, and they just threw him on the ground and dragged him out there. No patience with him. Don't care that he's an elderly man. I think he was about 80 years old then. Just given a single shot. Ray McGovern. Yeah, I salute you, sir. And I do quote him in many of my books. Ever want to see the voice of reason? Go and listen to Ray McGovern. He's all over the show. He's trying to speak out. Larry Johnson, trying to speak out. Go and listen to those people. Don't think it's just me talking here from the side. I'm nothing. I'm unknown. My books will never become famous. Never. They were the type of books which expose too much. And also, of course, they don't have Americans as heroes. They have South Africans. So that's why. And they've got messages in it which you don't want to know. And you don't want to know about this. So anyway. So let's talk quickly about the FBI. You will remember that I said to you that they're behind your terrorism cases. Now, this was in 2014, guys. So this is 12 years ago. So you can almost double what I'm saying to you now. And it's not me saying this. This is Columbia Law School, Human Rights Institute. You will say that Columbia Law School, famous law school, isn't it? Better than or better known, I don't think they're better, but they're better known from where I graduated at the Free State University in Bloemfontein, South Africa. Yeah, so okay, they're Columbia, man. It's Ivy League. Huh? What did they say? Yeah, what did they say? They found that in all except 4 cases of domestic US terrorism after 9/11, all except 4 cases. Listen to me, understand what I'm telling you here now. It says that all of excepting 4 cases of domestic US terrorism after 9/11 had direct US involvement in the form of agents or informants, which we call sting operations. I just described it to you. So tell me, patriots, who's running terrorism in the US? Who's behind it? Tell me. I want to know. FBI. Here you go. Who investigates terrorism in your country? Tell me, I want to know. FBI. You know, during apartheid, I was a police sergeant, very young sergeant. Can read my books on it. Wrote 3, 4 books on it. One is in Afrikaans, so it's actually 3 books and one's translated. And I say there that, we sometimes would stand on a crime scene, and by this time, after a few years service, you have like a feeling, man. You have like a 6th sense. And you would know something is wrong here. You know, there's a stage. And then the security branch, like your FBI, they would arrive. Oh, chaps, what's going on here? No, you know what? We found this guy. He's got like a card on him which shows it's a prohibited organization. That's why we called you. Oh, really? No. Okay. Thank you, chaps. We'll take over. Yeah. Guys, it's scary. Because remember what I said about the CIA being actually a Catholic organization? You think the FBI is different? Huh? You think it's different? No. Exactly the same. You know which was one of the famous ones, which was actually not a sting operation? That was the Boston Marathon shootings. Remember that? And what happened there? The FSB, the KGB people, they actually warned the FBI about these two, that they're going to commit these crimes. The FBI, of course, said, screw that, don't care. And then it happened. Yeah, there you go. So what does former CIA Robert Barr, what does he say about this rendition program of yours, this kidnapping thing going on worldwide? What does he say? Robert Barr, whatever. He says, if you want a serious interrogation, you send a prisoner to Jordan. Okay. Jordan, of course, is a little lapdog of Israel. If you want him to be tortured, you send him to Syria. There you go. And if you want someone to disappear, like you never seen him again, you send him to Egypt. Well, Robert, you know, there's a lot more places you could do that. It's not only those 3 countries, but I'm sure you people actually know it. You people actually understand what the hell I'm talking about and why this is just wrong. It's just wrong. So, okay, so then came the George Soros's Open Society Foundation, formerly known as the Open Society. Now, I don't like George Soros. Let me be honest with you. I think he's a flippin' narcissist who's causing a lot of trouble, a lot of revolutions, causing a lot of death of people. But it's not to say everything which comes out of his mouth is wrong. Sometimes they might even be correct. So let me quickly give you a list of countries which he says is partakers, direct and indirectly, in some way anyway, in this rendition program. So this is a list of countries where we will have these safe houses, these torture places, and murdering places, execution chambers. Now, who are they? Let's look at it. Afghanistan, of course. Albania, yes, of course. Algeria, Australia, hello. Australia, Austria, hello. Azerbaijan, Belgium, NATO country, here we go. Bosnia-Herzegovina, of course. Canada, hello, yeah, you Nazi lovers. Yeah, ones who clapped there for the Nazis. Yeah. Croatia, yes. Cyprus, yes. Czech Republic, yes. Denmark. Ah. Djibouti, Egypt, Ethiopia, Finland, Gambia, Georgia, Germany, Greece, Hong Kong, Iceland, Indonesia, Iran, Ireland, Italy, Jordan, Kenya, Libya, Lithuania, Macedonia, Malawi, Malaysia, Mauritania, that's in Africa, Morocco, Pakistan, Poland. Yeah, you Catholic nation, huh? Poland. Portugal, Romania, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, South Africa. We'll talk about that. Spain. Guys, I see a lot of NATO nations here. Don't you stand for freedom? Sri Lanka. Sweden. Sweden. Oh, what do you know? Syria again. Thailand. Turkey. United Arab Emirates. United Kingdom. Yeah, there you go, of course. Uzbekistan. Yemen. Zimbabwe. Okay, so let's see who's not there. That's more interesting. Hungary, yeah, that's good. France, yeah, that's good. Israel, yeah. Netherlands, okay. Norway, yeah, okay. Russia, yeah, I thought this would all be done in Russia. Okay, so let's talk about South Africa quickly. This mentioning is actually based upon two incidents which took place in 2003 and 2005, where two Pakistani gentlemen were arrested and they were handed over to those claiming to be CIA members. One was called Saud Memon. He was actually suspected in the murder of Wall Street journalist reporter Daniel Pearl. And Memon then died soon after. He was released in Pakistan and somebody got him. But we don't really know exactly. Then in 2005, there was a guy called Khalid Rashid. He was actually kidnapped in his home in Escort, KwaZulu-Natal. And then a light aircraft flew into a major Air Force base in Pretoria, which is called Waterkloof. Yeah, I've been there many times, and from there on he was flown to Kenya, where he was held for 5 months. So he ended living in Pakistan when he was released. Now, according to the Muslim UK-based group Cage, they said at the time the South African Minister of Home Affairs claimed that Rashid was arrested and deported because he resided in a country illegally, was shifting the spotlight of a case to issues of immigration as opposed to extraordinary rendition. 4 years later, the Supreme Court of Appeal found that his deportation was unlawful, making it apparent that the illegal immigration ploy was just an excuse to rendition him. Yeah, well, no one has been charged for that, for doing it, and neither was Memon or Rashid have ever been charged with any crime. They never had a fair trial either. So, yeah, so why are these black sites in South Africa and why are they operating? Who gave a green light? I can tell you what happened there, but I don't think I should. But it comes down to that there's different factions actually in South Africa intelligence, and some of them would actually help with such things. Only, I almost want to say illegally, and definitely there was a cover-up going on. But I don't think that South Africa itself, you would have noticed, would actually export these people or get them out of the country and then not care further. But there is no such thing, as far as I'm aware, of a black site actually holding people in South Africa and torturing them on behalf of the Yanks. No, that I'm not aware of. But anyway, so we asked the US Embassy in Pretoria about this case, and they said we will not confirm which countries were or were not involved. We will not comment on any specific findings or conclusion in the committee's report, the minority report of the CIA response. And then comes the bullshit. The second beast, the United States, greatly values our close cooperation with our allies. You don't have allies, man, you have vassals. It's all you flipping have, you don't have allies. On a range of shared initiatives, this will not change. Yeah, of course not. Of course not. That's bullshit. Actually, I say this in a book. I say, okay, just so much bullshit is master. But I did ask the coach group about it. I didn't respond before I wrote the book. This book, codename Love 72. So I explained to you, I've heard about rogue groups inside intelligence, so doing that. And also it depends whether how far you're going to take the Soros open society, how far you're going to take their word. But I just want to say this, it doesn't really matter what you do or call it or what you're doing, all this raping and torturing and killing in the different countries so that US laws cannot protect these people. Same as Eisenhower and the Brits did with the German prisoners of war, it doesn't make it right. In fact, on the United Nations Convention Against Torture and Other Forms of Cruelty, Inhuman or Degrading Treatment, which was ratified by you in 1992, yeah, Congress. You have no excuse, and in fact, there's a chairperson, Diane Feinstein. She might be late now. She was a senator. If she's not late, she's extremely old. She's a dual US-Israeli citizen. I don't know why you would allow that, because most other countries wouldn't. And I'm not anti-Semitic when I say that. I'm talking straight out of a security viewpoint here. How the hell can you give somebody who's got nationality of a different country high security clearances? You can't. Does the Bible not say to you, you cannot serve two masters? Yes, it says so. Wake up. Wake up. So anyway, what did Diane Feinstein, what did she say? She said that the CIA's program that is now a sort of extraordinary rendition was a stain on our values and on our history. Yeah, Madame, you're damn right about that. How many of the innocent Americans died because of this? A lot of you, and a lot of you will die. Because obviously these guys, if they can escape from it or they can get out of Katamana Bay or wherever, which is still open, is a flippant disgrace in law, then guess what? They're angry. They're going to kill you. Yeah. They're going to tell everybody what happened to them. And it's an open secret too. So you see, it's not a matter of hatred. It comes without reason. You causing this. I'm sorry to burst your damn bubble for you, but you caused this. There was a second lieutenant Al Shamrani. He was Saudi Arabian Air Force. Now it's very interesting. This happened in 2019. It's not that long ago. As I said in a different book to you, the Botswana Army, which is a country close to South Africa, they are also trained in the US. There's not a lot of them. The entire defense force is 9,000 people. And you haven't had a single one of them trying to defect or run away. On the Afghans which you had in the US to train as pilots or whatever, flipping half of them disappeared and ran away. And if they're Saudi, then there's actually a lot of them being caught for what? What do I hear? Child molestation? Exploitation? No, they raped the children. Yeah, rape little boys. Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah. Who brought them there? Huh? Tell me, who brought them there? Oh, you did. Oh, okay. And then they rape your kid next door. Oh, yeah, it's okay, it's okay. It's not okay, guys. It's not okay. It's really not okay. You've probably never been in the police like me. You've probably never seen a rape victim really in your life. You've never seen a child which is raped. You don't see the shock in their eyes. Their eyes are like this. You see the tears. You see some of them bit their lips. The blood is coming down because of the pain. And then you look downstairs and you see the blood and the semen and everything and you smell it. Why? Because a child's thing isn't designed for a man's thing to go in. I'm sorry again, I know there's people here will be shocked by things saying this, but guys, wake up. Flip and wake up to what you're doing. So this lieutenant, second lieutenant Al Shamrani, he started killing people there at the naval base of Pensacola. He shot 3 American servicemen dead. And what did he say? He said, I'm not against you for just being American. I don't hate you because of your freedoms. You see, that's the other thing, you politicians, your third brigade, because they smell what they talk and they're drifting what they talk. They will say to you, oh, they hate you because of your freedoms. Oh, you think you're the only country in the world? You're not even free. Who's got the most jails in the world per capita? Who's got the most people in jail? Huh? Second beast. Yeah, me. And now you're building little jails in a week. And you're going to put thousands of migrants in there. Yeah. Those same migrants you brought over the border to work in your fields because you're too flippin' lazy. Huh? Tell me, guys, how long before we're going to put in true blue patriots in those camps? Huh? How long? Yeah. Let's see how long. Let's see how long that's going to happen. Because don't think those camps are going to disappear. What happened during that great illness of a few years ago was name I can't even mention on YouTube because I'll be banned. Yeah. Tell me, were people not being held up? Were people not locked up? Weren't there things like lockdowns? Huh? You know where the term lockdowns come from? Huh? Yeah, it's in jail. Yeah, there's an incident, you lock down. You lock everybody up. You think those laws has disappeared? No. Go and read Oath of Evil. Do you know it was the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind took place during those times? Do you know that? Yes. No, of course. No, you don't know. No. Okay, so this guy he says, I'm not killing you because I hate you because of your freedoms. I hate you because of your everyday you supporting, funding, and committing crimes, not only against Muslims, but also humanity. You're doing exactly that. I'm against evil, and America as a whole has turned into a nation of evil. I'm sure Lieutenant Al-Sham Rami is a Muslim. He was a Muslim in life, so he probably didn't know the Bible. We identified you as the second beast. But you're flipping acting like a second beast. Then he says what? What I see from America is the supporting of Israel, which is invasion of Muslim countries. I see invasion of many countries by its troops. I see Guantanamo Bay. I see cruise missiles, cluster bombs, and UAVs. That's these drones. Your decision makers, the politicians, the lobbyists, the major corporations are the ones gaining from your foreign policy, and you the one paying the price for it. And then he asked, what benefit is it to American people to suffer for the sake of supporting Israel? Do you expect to transgress against others and yet spare retribution? How many more body bags of America are American families willing to receive? For how long can the US survive this war of attrition? The US Treasury spent billions of dollars in order to give Americans a false sense of security. It's true. The security is shared destiny. You will not be safe until we live in reality. In Pleastain, I'm not sure what he wanted to say, but probably peace. And American troops get out of our lands. Yeah. You know what? In 2002, Bin Laden wrote a letter, open letter to the US population as well, where he explained exactly why 9/11 took place. And he said the same thing, get the hell out of our countries. We don't want you. No one invited you here. And stop, protecting Israel against everything. Now you can say, okay, guys, that's anti-Semitic. No, it's not. It's not. This really, there's nothing. And you know what's fascinating about it? When this letter of Bin Laden was discovered in 2023, it was immediately banned. But it came out on TikTok, so millions and millions of people actually saw it. But during the time when it first came out in 2002, no, it was totally banned. It never came out. Yeah. So this is exactly what is happening in with your rendition program. I can go on for many more hours almost talking about it, and I will when I do the special episode, if I remember and I get to it. All I'm trying to say to you here, guys, is it is no use in the eyes of God and the world, who's not that stupid as you think they are, to capture somebody, in other words, to kidnap somebody, take him to a foreign country, then torture him, either kill him, torture him, then take him to Guantanamo Bay. Then you keep him there forever without having a trial, without having access to attorneys. And it's a damn stain upon you. It is a shameful cloak you're going to wear forever. And yes, you can justify yourself by legal means. I know how to do it. I'm an attorney myself and a damn good one. Or I used to be. I'm not anymore, thank God. But let me tell you guys something. This argument of yours is not going to stand in the final days. It's not going to stand. You are going to pay the full price before God for what you're doing now. And you're causing terrorism. That is why I'm saying to you again, I'm warning you, it's a matter of time before a country like South Africa, which is powerful in sub-Saharan Africa, yeah, laugh about it, I know what I'm talking about, read my books. It's a matter of time before this plays out, because this was an exercise. Yes, I've heard rumors that it actually became more than an exercise, but that was after my time. The time is going to come when this is going to explode in your faces. When the assassin teams or other teams are going to raid you, they're going to storm that house, take you prisoner, invite the world's press to go and look at you, and they're going to make you confess on TV and on the internet. They're going to do that. You also have these things in ships. I don't think we don't know about it. Read what I said to you in codename BF0565, and then go to codename Phoenix. And also read codename Willow Bay, where I explain to you how we can get on a ship without you knowing we are even there. Yeah, we can do it. We know how to do it. Read codename Unbutton and see how else we can get on one of your ships without you knowing we're there. And let me guarantee you something. Once we are on board your vessel, you're not going to stop us. No, we're going to kill you. Or we're going to take you prisoner, which is worse for you. And then we're going to take this torture vessel of yours, because that's what you're doing. You've got a whole bunch of commercially registered vessels. And they sail up and down the African coast. Yeah, we can track you by satellite, idiot. We have satellites. But if we don't have satellites, the Russians have. The Chinese have. India's got. Wake up. And then we look at your way you travel. Because do you know that commercial ships actually travel like an aircraft? What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is he leaves port and he has a straight way, a beeline it makes to the other ports. And then he comes back. And then he goes again. And then he goes back. It's flippin' boring, actually. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Yeah, there you go. Unless, of course, something happens and you have to change the routes. Let's say the Houthis decided to chase the US Navy and Brits. Oh, yeah, you too. German Navy, yeah, you too. You ran away too. Oh, you sailed away. And suddenly you have to go past the Cape of Good Hope. It's really boring. It's the same all the time. Might a few pirates get you here and there, but whatever. The fact is you don't deviate. You have a plan and you stick by it, and we can track you. It's easy. But suddenly we would see there's a ship, there's a vessel. Yeah, it's registered somewhere. Obviously a false registration. Or sometimes not. Sometimes we know it's registered in companies which you created in Langley. No, we're not stupid, really. We know these things. Okay, and then this thing is sailing up, and then he turns around, and he comes back, and he sails a figure eight, and he sails around. Then he dashes into port to rebunker fuel, whatever. Then he goes out again. Then suddenly, woof, it comes in close to the coast, and woof, it comes back, and a day or three later, it goes deep. It goes deep in deep waters. Ooh, what else do we see there? Submarine. Oh yeah, there's a submarine there. Ooh, there's a US Navy vessel. Ooh, there's something's happening here. There's a renewal taking place. Deduction. What do we know? You're using this ship as a prison ship. You've got it manned. We call it mother vessels. Read the books in the Eggbreaker series. We talk about it all the time there because I was warning you. And then what happens is you snatch this guy. You have some kind of a team or you bought somebody or whatever. They're moving this person out to the coast. Or perhaps he stays in the house there, but now you want to move him to the coast, whatever. Doesn't matter. You can even take him by helicopter, drop him by parachute, whatever. But he gets to your ship. Then your ship has him there, and you can interrogate him further now because you're sailing on a flag of convenience. Oops. Big problem. Because let's say a South African Navy vessel actually intercepts you and you don't want to surrender, they shoot the hell out of you, which they can. Can you then claim that, oh, you attacked the US Navy vessel, like the US Liberty? You remember that one which is almost sunk in 1967 or USS Pueblo, one captured by North Koreans. And it's an act of war. It's an act of war. I can hear that idiot Lindsey Graham. I can hear him. Well, he's supposed to be an attorney too. How good or one, I don't know. But let me say something to you. Lack of convenience. I wasn't shooting at the Old Glory. No. Shooting at whatever flag you're flying, Panama, whatever. Yeah, so Panama, you want to declare war on us? No. We want to become part of BRICS. Oh, okay, great. You see where this is going. You see where this is going. Okay, now you got him there. Now you torture him. Now you want to get rid of a body. Okay, let's sail deep waters. Let's get rid of a body. Okay, or, well, we think we should send him to Egypt. Perhaps we can get rid of him. How do we do that? No, let me renovate with another vessel or something. Okay, so now we're sailing into deep water. Satellites are tracking you. We're tracking those vessels as well. Idiot. You think we cannot figure this out, really? You think we don't have the skills? We're that stupid. We don't. No. Okay, keep on thinking that. Great. It suits me, really. It suits me. It suits me when you think that. But we won't. We won't. We have a means to intercept you. We have a means to overcome you. We have a means to expose you. What we don't have is the orders to do so. In this book, codename Love 72, Angelique got the orders. How long before that happens in real life? Tell me. But don't ever come to me and say to me, why didn't you warn us, Chris? Why didn't you tell us? Because I did. Same with this thing about the Sabbath day. Same about you being the second beast. I did warn you. I wrote those things in 12 books in the hope that you would read it. But many of you are, and I thank you for that. I respect you. I salute you. So you can get hold of this book, codename Love 72. You can get hold of it on Amazon. It's in audio, hardcover, softcover, as well as Kindle. And that's my story for today. God bless you all. Hope to meet you again one day.